And hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode, If Not Now Wen. Today, oh my goodness, I have such an honor and super excited for today's guest speaker. We have Abhijeet Khadilkar. Wow, what a beautiful name. And it's a full story behind the scene, which we're going to talk about momentarily. And Abhijeet, he is a business leader and a problem solver at heart. He has worked as entrepreneur, management consultant, product management leader across Fortune 500 company, as well as a C-stage startup venture. Oh my goodness. Today, he is a founder for Enterprise CX with a passion to realize and the full value of customer experience and drive the business growth. He is also COO for MentorCloud, a human-powered growth platform for your organization to rapidly grow and scale and truly help you supporting your people. Lastly, he is Amazon best-selling author. The book name Unlock. You can see it on the screen. A modern career leadership playbook. You should get it right now. With that, everybody, oh my goodness, I am super excited and beyond honored. Thank you so much, Abhijeet, for joining us and welcome to the show.
Wen, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's an honor. And, it's such a pleasure to connect with you and the audience. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes. So let's dive in, Abhijeet. Let's talk about, speaking of fun, how does the whole fun journey begin?
Yeah, it's great. And, Wen, just a quick thumbnail on my background and kind of how it all started. I was born and raised in India, and that's where I, went to undergrad, grad, etc. So even in India, I was traveling all the time, and because of the nature of my dad's work, and I lived in over 12 states in India, and I got to make so many friends. And then I eventually moved to the US in the late 90s. And ever since that time, I've been working in what I would call as management consulting roles, as well as technology roles. And one of the things that has really helped me through this journey has been this idea of how can we solve problems, and whether we are solving problems for ourselves, our communities, our teams, our customers, our partners. Across all of this is this theme of how can we make others' lives better, whether it's their professional lives, their personal lives, and how can we create more value for them. And that has been something that, my mom and dad have taught me over the years. And even when I was a kid, my mom taught me the power of empathy and how can we use empathy to understand the other person and understand others' perspectives. So all of my mom's learnings and my dad's learnings have had a big impact on me throughout this journey. And quite frankly, is if we look at what's going on in the world today, on one hand, you can say, oh my God, there is so many challenges. But at the same time, I really think that there's so many opportunities. And if we can apply problem solving, if we can apply empathy to a lot of these situations, we can always see upside in any kind of situation that we have out there. And I would definitely encourage everybody to think about in every single problem or challenge that you're seeing today, there is a little kernel of opportunity that you have to unpack so that you can take advantage of it.
I love that, Abhijeet. I love that you talk about along the journey and how you always want to solving the problem, serve others. I think it's such an incredible example about servant leadership, and that's who you are today. So with that, I have so much to unpack. First of all, what inspired you to left home and come to the United States? It's a complete different world. Why you left? What brought you here?
Oh, that's a great question. So, for some reason, ever since I was a kid, I always thought of myself as an American in the sense that I always was immersed in the pop culture, in the business culture of the United States. And it really drew me. And I quite frankly had this fascination for free market capitalism and being free. And although in India, I had a really good upbringing, I would say I was middle of the middle class in India. In terms of growing up. So I absolutely had really good, opportunities for education and things like that. At the same time, I really wanted to figure out how can I create the most impact. And for me to create the most impact, I have to operate at a different scale, maybe at a more global scale. And
Hmm.
to me, that opportunity lay in the United States. And when I got the opportunity, I moved here, and quite frankly, for an immigrant who showed up on the at San Francisco airport with
Hmm.
less than $100, I did pretty well. And so it's all testament to an
Wow.
amazing country the United States is, and quite frankly, it's also a testament to the amazing upbringing and the background that I had back in India. And so I think to me, it's the best of both worlds, and I wouldn't trade that for anything else in the world.
Talking him arrive in the airport with less than $100 in your pocket. Were you scared, Abhijit? Sounds like you were just come here with a dream, with want to make an impact to the greater scale. But were you scared at the moment, given that this is a complete new world?
Yeah, when it's funny you asked that because at that point I was actually not scared at all. And here's
Mm,
the reason: there is very limited downside. Like, what's the worst that can happen, right? I'm like, there's nothing for me to lose over there. So,
mm,
in fact, I saw everything as an upside, and I still
mm.
see that to this day because when your expectations are at a super low, then everything in life is a bonus, right? So that's the way I look at it. So I definitely have hope, and
Mhm,
I'm constantly planning and thinking about the future and things like that. But at the
mhm,
same time, if I can keep my expectations low, and that's not
mhm,
easy, but if I can do that, then my happiness level automatically goes up. So I would say it's not so. It was not so much scary per se, but definitely
mhm.
excited about the opportunities that lay ahead and that still lie ahead. Quite frankly.
Wow, what a journey. And I love that how you articulate so well. Think about what is worse could happen. In the same time, set the realistic expectation and then everything else is bonus. Such an amazing mindset and perspective looking at life. Um, so now I'm pivoting my question to you, Abhijit. What inspired you? What moment you realize you want to be entrepreneur? Now you follow your heart. You're chasing the freedom, come to this new world. What part you realize you want to be entrepreneur?
That's a great question. So the way I think about sort of our life phases and our career phases is, we kind of climb and camp at different levels in our life. And so for a long time, I was climbing up the corporate ladder, right?
Hmm.
So I from management consulting transition to tech,
Hmm.
and I really saw the opportunity. And tech is such an amazing, I would say, a democratizing force in the universe, in the sense that the moment you give smartphone a connectivity, you give opportunities to build things on the cloud and
Hmm.
provide all of these opportunities to people, it's like really uncorking the champagne bottle, and everybody gets to participate and create value. And quite frankly, I saw that from consulting to tech as that opportunity. And as I climbed and I camped in tech for some time. I was a leader at Cisco,
Hmm.
and ran a $2.5 billion software portfolio. And I was camping there in the sense that I was making everything better around me. I realized that we should start climbing again, because when you camp for some time, it's great. You make the campground better and you kind of feed your team and take care of everybody. But after a while, you kind of start feeling that itch to go back and climb again. And
Hmm.
so to me, it was like, okay, what should I do next? And I've always wanted to create new value, net new value,
Hmm.
for others. So that's what made me go towards entrepreneurship. And quite frankly, it has been quite the journey. So I would recommend anyone who is looking to get into entrepreneurship as to stop thinking, start doing, because
Hmm.
no matter how much you're going to read and how much you're going to experience from others, it
Hmm.
really hits home when you start doing it. And
Hmm.
the learning I've had in the last couple of years or so has been
Hmm.
so phenomenal that beats any other MBA, any other workshop, any other session
Hmm.
I've ever had, because now we're learning at hyperscale because
Hmm.
you're in the environment. You're in the environment to create value for your customers.
I love that, BG. And And I'm curious, at this moment, right, you are coming across the ocean and seeing this whole new world, seeking the freedom, seeking the impact, seeking the skills, and you are sitting in this comfortable corporate environment, you are managing incredible team, right? It all sounds amazing, but yet you think, you know what, I'm gonna do like something even bigger. And now you jump to the startup world. Like that must be not easy. Like, was it scary for you that moment to actually decide, you know what, tomorrow is the day? Like that moment of actually taking action, was that hard? And what is the hardest thing you have done, transition from that corporate environment with big team and scale to now, like, oh, you are in the hustle, you are on the trenches. How's that like for you?
There's so many things to that. One is you're in a corporate environment, as you rightly said. You got a whole bunch of people that are reporting up to you. You have a amazing admin assistant who's taking care of your calendar and meetings and everything. And you are driving large scale transformation in a company. So all of that is super exciting. And what happens in those type of roles is that after some time, you've achieved the transformation, you've achieved the things that you've set out to achieve, and then the question becomes, what next? When you think about what next, it's, at least to me, it's about what's meaningful. What is the meaning that I want to create in the world? And is it going to be about these particular items that I'm running with in this corporate role? Or should it be something different or bigger? The answer to everyone is different for that question. And for me, the answer was, how can I create more meaning? It doesn't necessarily needs to be bigger, but it definitely needs to be more meaningful. And with that thought process, I started thinking about, okay, what's next for me? Is it about creating a better customer experience for companies? Is it about creating a mentoring environment for a lot of people who are struggling to get that mentorship that I was fortunate enough to get? And so as I started to think down that path, I started to see that, hey, I should definitely be creating content, which is, the genesis of the book and the videos that I do. But I should also be creating a platform and aiming to create value for those people. So with those thought processes, I started down that path. But at the same time, going back to your question, what is the moment and when do you decide to take the plunge? I think that at some point you have to be like Indiana Jones, who is like standing on the edge of the cliff, and the note in his hand says, "Oh, you got to cross the bridge." And Indiana Jones sees there's no bridge. You just have to step your foot in the air, and you have to have faith that the bridge will appear from down below, and it does. The point is, you have to overcome your situation and your current mindset to say, you know what, it's okay. And again, I think thinking about it, part of it was the excitement. Part of it was, hey, if I don't do this now, it's going to be now or never. And the third part is, again, what's the worst that could happen? I could take a corporate job tomorrow, right? I could just find another job tomorrow. That's not a problem. But the moment where I have this thing going, where I have this thought process going, and where I believe I can create, contribute, and generate value for my customers, I think that excitement is
Mhm.
what pushes you over, right? So it also means that you need to have really strong desire for it, and you need to have like almost like your heart and mind alignment towards what you want to do, because you're going to get up every day in the morning and go at it every day. It has to be something that excites you beyond belief. So
Mhm.
that's something that you should absolutely aim for.
Wow, we can all sense the excitement, across the screen. And, Abhijit, I truly admire that you can really just tune in with your own heart. And despite all the logical, all the incredible thing that you list earlier, but you're still saying, yes, I'm going to honor what is in my heart. I'm going to move forward despite at this moment, bridge is not occur, but I trust the first that I make, seconds that I can magically show up. I love that. So back to the entrepreneurship, BG, you and me know this startup journey is not easy by any means. And, there's even stats saying that over 90% of startup fails in the first year or so, right? And I think the field is all about, the different pivot, different evaluation from the mistake, from the fatal quote unquote failure, and then pivot being a success, right? So I'm curious, along the journey, what is the quote unquote the biggest failure or challenging you overcome and help you become who you are today as a successful entrepreneur?
I would say my number one learning in my entrepreneurial journey has been it's kind of a surprising thing for me, but it was take care of yourself. And it may sound kind of weird. Like, isn't
Mhm.
entrepreneurship about taking care of your customers, creating value,
Mhm.
selling, delivering,
Mhm.
any product or service that you bring into the market? So the answer to that is yes, all of the above, no question.
Mhm.
But the first thing you got to do is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself emotionally, mentally, financially, physically, because if you are in top shape in all of those dimensions, you're going to create that value. You are
Mhm.
super smart. You are, well learned. You know your customers. You know your industry. You have everything going for you.
Mhm.
But the variable is you. Are you in the zone? And for you to be in the zone to create that value, you got
Mhm.
to be in great condition mentally,
Mhm.
physically, emotionally, financially, etc. And make
Mhm.
sure you secure yourself, because to me that has been the number one learning, and I've invested in that. I've invested in making sure that I keep at it. I'm in the zone every day, and that's what has helped me a ton. And sometimes what you got to do is you really have to figure out your environment, scan
Mhm.
your environment, and see what changes do you need to make, whether it's your lifestyle, it's your diet, it's your friends, it's
Mhm.
colleagues, it's your market. It may be your own personal zone, and give space to yourself.
Mhm.
All of those things matter. And in some ways, COVID has been really bad, and I feel sorry for all the families who've
Mhm.
lost lives of their near and
Mhm.
dear ones, and it's been terrible. And
Mhm.
it's great to havoc an economy. And on the other hand, I really think that there is upside with COVID as well. It has allowed all of us more flexibility, more
Mhm.
freedom, and also this once in a lifetime opportunity to really reassess who we are, what we are here to do. And
Mhm.
quite frankly, using that COVID or pandemic as a lever, you can figure out what you want to do next, because getting into the zone and getting
Mhm.
into this state is actually slightly easier because of COVID. I know it
Mhm.
sounds kind of like weird, but it is actually true, because we don't
Mhm.
commute anymore. We have more flexible schedules and things like that. So it's definitely
Mhm.
the opportunities for all of us to take better care of ourselves,
Mhm.
reassess our situation, and launch into something that's going to be creating value for others.
For me, I could not agree more. I felt like COVID truly remind every single one of us that, frankly, we all gonna die. It could be tomorrow, could be next month, could be hopefully it's many, many years from now, but it could be sometimes that we can't anticipate. With that, this moment really count. And I think I really admire that Abhijit, you can be so intentional. I felt like your intentionality about who you are, what value you represent, you bring on this planet. You are very aware of that the whole time. I'm curious, what inspired you that way? Are you always this way, or is there something happening, like leading that change?
Yeah, in my mind, it's more like, what else should I be doing? Like, if I'm not creating value for others, right? And
Mhm.
and and I think, okay, so this will kind of sound weird, but
Mhm.
whatever anybody wants to achieve, somebody wants to be super rich, somebody
Mhm.
wants to find their ideal spouse or partner,
Mhm.
somebody wants to have an amazing family life, want to raise
Mhm.
kids in a certain way. Somebody wants to create great things for their community. So whatever your goals are, your aspirations are,
Mhm.
the path to that goal lies in creating value for others. It doesn't matter what it is. If you want to be rich, if you want to have a successful startup, for example, the
Mhm.
path lies in creating value for your customers. So it doesn't
Mhm.
matter where you look at it, whether it's personal or professional. I think if
Mhm.
we can have this as part of our mindset, as part of our internal strategic pillar, this would
Mhm.
actually help us to, basically unlock our potential that exists in
Mhm.
all senses, whether it's personal or professional.
I love that so much. And I use my word, I call it win, win, and win. When you win, I win, everybody win. So it's all about how can we contribute to one another, how can we support one another. And people say Asian are good at math. I'm gonna tell people my math equation is 1 + 1 = 3. When we truly all come together, support one another, the whole world is a bigger pie for everybody. And speaking about unlocking human potential, Abhijit, I'm curious. Tell us more about unlock. Sorry, will you
Yes,
want to
I
say
would
something?
love to tell you the unlock story, but let me add one more thing on the last question in terms of creating value, right? So
Yes.
a lot of times, me included, have expectations that, oh, if I added value to someone, that person should add value back to me.
Ooh.
And I just wanted to share that that may not be true. And the way the universe works is, or at least that's what I've seen based on observation, is you just
Mhm,
have to create value, whether you're doing that for your friends, your family, your
mhm,
community, your team, your organization, your customers, your partners. It doesn't matter. Just
mhm,
create value. The way you will receive value is not exactly the way you create value. So the way you will receive value back from the universe is fundamentally different. And the universe is not going to give you a warning sign or a heads up or anything like that, but it will absolutely create value for you. Most of the time, it will create many, many X value for you versus
mhm,
what you actually create for the universe. So the point is, create value with low expectations, and that in my mind is a secret sauce to kind of
mhm,
making sure that you are creating value without having an expectation that that other person or that other human being
mhm,
you're helping is actually has to create value in exactly the same way for you. It doesn't work
mhm,
like that. So just have low expectations of anybody else creating value for you, but
mhm,
you'll receive far more than your, what your wildest imagination. And so, with that being said, let me share the story about Unlock.
mhm,
So this is back in 2009. We're in the midst of the financial crisis, and at that time, I started helping some friends with, their resume and helping them find jobs and things like that.
mhm,
And then they got success, and they basically told their friends, "Hey, you guys should talk to Abhijeet." And so soon, complete strangers started calling my phone and said, "Hey, I need help. Can you help me?" Etc. So I started a website called careertiger.com, and I started helping friends find a job. And then I transitioned to helping them with their ongoing career. And this became a passion of mine. And I still do that, not only in my spare time, but also in my day job. I'm constantly trying to figure out ways to help people in their careers. And fast forward to about 2019 or so, one of my mentors said, "Hey, Abhijit, you've been helping so many people, but why don't you write a book about that?" And my point was like, really? A book? And me? Like, I have nothing to share. And his point was, all these experiences that you have of helping other people, coaching others with their careers, try to codify that in a way that more people would understand. So that's number one. Number two is, I've also created specific tools to help people. And these are, tools that anyone can use pretty quickly and figure out what do they want to do next in their career, how should they approach it, where is the market headed, how to find out career opportunities, how to connect and network with people to, explore those opportunities, things like that. So I packaged all of that up into this book called Unlock. And when it was released, in July of 2020, we were right in the midst of a pandemic, et cetera. But regardless, the book did extremely well. It was on the Amazon bestseller list on, day one, week one, et cetera, right up there with all the famous authors that you and I admire.
oh
And
my
and so
God.
to me, yeah, and so to me, that's been a massive milestone in the journey. And I've nothing but gratitude to my mentors who basically egged me on to write the book, and also my publisher, and also all of the folks who worked with me as part of a team, because I realized that writing a book is teamwork, not just hard
Mm,
work by one human being. So this is a fantastic team effort. And
mm,
yeah, I mean, people can find out more by going to unlockthebook.com. But in general, the ideas that are expressed in the book are applicable at any point of our professional lives. And this
mm.
is just sort of a humble effort to help people who are in their career journey and trying to find a better way.
Wow, Abhijeet, one thing I love most about you is you are so accomplished and so successful, yet you are just so humble and, such a servant leadership, which I truly believe that's one of the reasons that you today inspires me, inspires so many people around you, which is amazing. Speaking of unlock, speaking of the mentorship, which I think truly is a thing, a threat in your entire career life. I'm curious, why mentorship is so important to you, and if you may say, what is one biggest misconception people know about mentorship?
Yeah, mentorship is absolutely fundamental to our success. And when you were maybe younger, your mom might have been your mentor, or your dad, or your teachers later on. And as you grew up, there have been maybe elders around you, or maybe colleagues in the office, especially someone who's a little bit more senior. And these people have had an impression on you, an influence on you
Mhm,
in terms of who you are today. That mentoring might have been just a small conversation. In fact,
mhm,
some of my most important mentoring moments in my life have been
mhm,
like a 3-minute conversation or a 10-minute conversation with someone, but it has
mhm,
provided me that insight that I was like, aha, that's how I should look at the world. That's how I
mhm,
should look at this adversity or opportunity.
mhm,
And if we really think about it, there have been many such episodes in our lives where people have just literally said something to us that has been so much valuable. And and to me, that is mentorship. And
mhm,
mentorship um, today happens organically, in the sense that you know when you've been at a gathering, or maybe on a phone call or what have you, and
mhm,
you receive that mentorship, you didn't seek it, you didn't ask for it, but a lot of times it was given to you. But
mhm,
imagine this, right? If we were able to actually manufacture these situations in the future. So that's one of my reasons to be a part of MentorCloud, is to create
mhm,
mentoring opportunities for folks in the future. And
mhm,
everybody needs mentoring, whether I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm
mhm,
early in career, or I'm a successful executive. All of us need
mhm,
mentoring. And one of the
mhm,
common misconceptions about mentoring is, oh, is it coaching? And it's not coaching. And because coaching is like how you have a team coach, or how you have a
mhm,
coach who can be with you for a long period of time and help you get
mhm,
better in certain things. Mentor comes from a place of expertise, comes
mhm,
from a place of wisdom, comes from a place of a person who's been there, done that. And she might be providing advice to me, which is coming from, hey, I've been in your shoes, or I know what it feels like in your situation, but here's how I dealt with it, or here's
mhm,
how to see it, which is
mhm,
different. And so a coach is someone who will probably ask you a bunch of questions and help
mhm,
you get better in certain areas. And that's great. I think coaches have their own place, but mentoring comes from a place of expertise and wisdom. And it's
mhm,
basically not a sort of a factor of time, but it's mentoring could happen in minutes, or in a couple of
mhm,
hours, where coaching happens over a period of time. So
mhm.
mentoring is something that is basically another key to use the word unlock your potential and unlock opportunities with
Yes.
insights that come from a place of wisdom.
So, what is one best practices you will share with our listeners about, seeking mentor or mentoring others? What is one thing that you would like to share?
Yeah. So it was interesting as I found mentors, and I have a lot of mentors.
Mhm,
Well, I would say easily over 30 mentors. And mentors don't need to be of a certain age, or a
mhm,
certain background, or a
mhm,
certain company, or a certain title. Mentors
Mm-hmm.
are everywhere. In fact, a good chunk of my mentors are younger than me, and
Mm-hmm.
but they are at the same time working in so many diverse areas where I don't have expertise in. So the
Mm-hmm.
key to getting more mentors is being curious, genuinely curious, and genuinely hungry about learning certain things which you know you're not good at today, and you know those will be very important in the future or the near
Mm-hmm.
future. So if it's something important, for example, if I want to learn more about digital marketing,
Mm-hmm.
I want to get in touch with someone who has been there, done that, who's an expert in digital marketing, at least knows way more than me. And then to me is to go to that person and say, hey, I just need 30 minutes of your time. I just have this situation. Can you spare 20, 30 minutes of your time?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that has been the best way. And I usually do that via introductions, whether I
Mm-hmm.
use LinkedIn or Facebook, any of the social tools, or if I just call up my friend and say, hey, I would like to talk to so and so who is really good at digital marketing. Can you help me make an intro? One other piece of advice is uh, please don't share that. Hey, can you be my mentor? Because people don't. Um, a lot of people may not understand that fully. What does it mean to be a mentor?
Mm-hmm.
But one hack there is you can ask for advice, and that way people will feel really nice because hey, who wouldn't like advice, right? Who wouldn't like to give advice? So everybody likes to, oh, of course I'll give advice. And
Mm-hmm.
so the hack there is to say, hey, please, if you can share some advice for me, I'm in this situation, and that becomes your start of your journey to mentorship. Lastly, do something for that person who's providing that advice. It could be anything. It could be,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you can maybe help that other person out by providing introductions to some other folks who might be
Mm-hmm.
valuable. It could
Mm-hmm.
be things that you already have you can share. Figure out ways to create value for the mentor as well, so that it's a two-way
Mm-hmm.
street and not a one-way street.
Tell us more about MentorCloud. Talk more about how can folks join and be part of an incredible company and share advice through there.
Yeah, we're a super fast growing company right now with incredible customers. Our customers are, large enterprises like Marriott, Merck, Santander Bank, as well
Mm-hmm.
as the world's largest CEO network, which is YPO and others. So we're serving some of the biggest and the most amazing organizations on the planet. It really boils down to this: when, you know, every company wants to have a mentoring program for their employees or their members.
Mm-hmm.
Every executive who really loves her team or his team wants to implement mentoring, but they may not know how to do that because they are
Mm-hmm.
experts in their own domain, but they may not be mentorship experts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where MentorCloud comes in, and we help companies design world-class mentoring programs and implement them and scale them using our software, which is a AI-driven software for mentoring. And
Mm-hmm.
the results that they're getting are incredible. So our customers use mentoring in four major areas. First is they drive a lot of employee engagement, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe because of a lot of Zoom fatigue or other reasons, people are sort of a little bit disengaged at work. So
Mm-hmm.
mentoring helps people to engage better at work because of mentor-mentee relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Second is, people find that mentoring creates advancement in careers. So when companies roll out mentoring, they see their people advancing in their careers, demonstrate more leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Third area is diversity and inclusion. So, people who may have been left behind earlier, um, because of mentoring, now they can actually take advantage of the opportunities that lie ahead in their
Mm-hmm.
organizations, whether it's women leaders or people of color and folks like that. So that
Mm-hmm.
definitely helps with diversity and inclusion. And lastly, but probably the most important, is companies are using mentoring to drive large scale transformation in their company, whether it's digital transformation or culture transformation, et cetera. So
Mm-hmm.
mentoring is sort of this operating system that they're installing, which actually creates more results for them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
super exciting to be a part of this journey, and we're just getting started.
I love the vision. I truly think the world will be a better place when everybody have the mentor, have the mentee, and support one another and truly grow together. So now I'm going to pivot our conversation back to you, Abhijeet. We talk a lot about your journey, how you come to this world, seeking freedom, seeking more impact. And I'm curious. We also talk about pieces that are challenging for you. Maybe it's one of the failure moment that in the past. I'm curious, what is your today definition of success? And with that, are you successful?
Yeah, I think our definitions for success should evolve. And our traditional definition of success has been financial success or professional success, which are all important. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are all important things. But I really believe that professional and financial success is in the service of something.
Mm-hmm.
And let me explain what that means. If a person or a company is financially successful,
Mm-hmm.
or if that person is professionally successful,
Mm-hmm.
what does that actually mean other than that success? So it's a
Mm-hmm.
fairly self-contained definition of success. So let me share an example. What
Mm-hmm.
if a person is financially successful and that person is leveraging the financial success to figure out ways to create value for customers or their community or their friends? To
Mm-hmm.
me, that's a greater measure of success
Mm-hmm.
versus a person who's purely just financially successful.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, financial success is absolutely important. All of us should be financially
Mm-hmm.
successful, professionally successful. However, make sure that you are leveraging that success to
Mm-hmm.
create even more successes for others,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where real success lies. When, let's say you go talk to some really senior people, maybe they're really old, and ask them, "Hey, what's your regret, or what's something that would is your disappointment, if you will?"
Mhm, mhm,
They're not going to say, "Oh, I wish I had made more money," or "I wish I went from becoming a director or VP to a CEO." That's absolutely not what they would say. What they would say is, "I wish I had created more value for my family, for my
mhm,
community, for my teams, for people around
mhm,
me." And
mhm,
to me, that would be a great way to figure out, how do we want to achieve success um, in terms of that value creation
mhm,
versus achieving success for myself. Achieving
mhm,
success for myself, it's great. However, that's just a milestone in the journey. Having success for yourself puts you in a really nice spot, and that
mhm,
makes you a little bit more comfortable. You get more
mhm.
financial, benefits and other things with that. Absolutely great, but that's just a milestone. The journey lies ahead.
So with that, are you successful?
I think I'm definitely on that path. So
Mhm,
I think that the journey never ends. And if
mhm.
the journey is ended, then I would be super bored, right? When uh, so the journey is absolutely there. The path is there.
Mhm, mhm,
There
mhm,
are days when I'm crawling on that journey. There are days when I'm walking on that journey. There are days when I'm
mhm,
absolutely running and sprinting on that journey. So
mhm,
the good news is, for at least for me, the path is
mhm,
set. I'm super excited and super charged, and at the
mhm,
same time, I think the fun lies in bringing others along and helping them find their own paths to this
mhm.
journey as well.
Oh my God, Ajib, I really love, I felt throughout the conversation, the servant mentality, the mission of truly serve others, support others, truly is the front of everything and anything you do. I'm curious, where's that come from? Or you always born this way? Is there any inspiration? Is a moment that you start shifting the mindset? And I love when you articulated earlier about if I helping you, I should not expecting you helping me back. Like I love you have such a clear articulation you had about what a servant means. So can you tell us more about that? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes from a mom and dad. My upbringing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely helpful. It's also, in my mind, what has been your anyone's curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that if you follow your path to whatever makes you happy, right? For example, so if 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 you try to figure out what really makes you happy, you will find that the highest happiness is actually helping others. So that's one way to figure that out. The other way to figure it out is, hey, what do you want to do? And when we all of us were younger, all of us wanted to be rich, successful movie
Mm-hmm.
stars or entrepreneurs or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And the path is we realize that, hey, is that real happiness? Because we look at the lives of a lot of quote unquote really successful people, and
Mm-hmm.
are they really happy? Are they really content and satisfied with their lives? And the answer is probably no. And so the curiosity to kind of figure out where real happiness lies,
Mm-hmm.
and in value creation for others, I think part of that is definitely my upbringing, and part of that is sort of the
Mm-hmm.
curiosity to figure out, sort of what is real happiness and what does success mean. So to me, all of those are interconnected. And
Mm-hmm.
the other hack I'll share with you is, when you are thinking about who are the people around you, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who are thinking positive, who are
Mm-hmm.
seeking opportunities, who are selfless, and who are out there to help others, because that's the way you will also make sure that you are immersing yourself in this environment
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to help others. Because if you are with friends or other folks that don't believe in this,
Mm-hmm.
and they are ridiculing you, or they're putting you down for helping others or seeking success other than your own, then
Mm-hmm.
you may, over a period of time, develop some of those qualities. So
Mm-hmm.
having and creating an environment for yourself that allows you to do that is also part of that. So seek out friends,
Mm-hmm.
seek out people who have this attitude towards life that includes positivity,
Mm-hmm.
service of others, and that will help all of us to become
Mm-hmm.
even better and basically get more people on this other side of things.
Yes, yes, I love that. Um, what legacy do you want to leave behind on this planet, Abhijit?
Oh my God. You know what? I haven't quite thought about that. So I would say, that question is a little challenging for me to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, someone who's just helped others, that's probably a good legacy. Um, you know, all of us want to kind of live beyond the point when we die. And the way to do that is to create things for others.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you create content, you write
Mm-hmm.
a book, you
Mm-hmm.
make a piece of music,
Mm-hmm.
you create a piece of software, or you do something, you create something which will have a life of its own
Mm-hmm.
beyond yourself. And when you create that, you will feel that, oh my God, that could be part of my legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: when we are in 2021, the amount of tools we have at our disposal to create these amazing things is just incredible. And we have a lot of tools right in
Mm-hmm.
right in our hands right now.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, people are inseparable from their phones right now. You take away their phone, they'll almost cry. So the point I'm trying to make is, the thing that you want to create in this world and leave a legacy,
Mm-hmm.
you already have that.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to put your mind towards it and
Mm-hmm.
actually do something. The world
Mm-hmm.
rewards creators, not consumers. And if we think about creating, the tools for creating are right here. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Most of them are free. So, what's stopping you from creating content for others, creating
Mm-hmm.
value for others, creating
Mm-hmm.
software for others, creating that amazing piece of music for others? That's
Mm-hmm.
what's going to live beyond your physical life and leave
Mm-hmm.
a legacy for the world.
I'm curious. Now we're looking at entire life journey, right? You're covering so much things, and I love that you continue to serve and create impact. I'm curious, what is one thing that if you could tell the younger version of yourself, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 30, whatever that time age you felt like is a pivotal moment, what would you wish him knows back in the time?
Yeah, look, when I've made so many mistakes over the years, I'm probably the king of making mistakes. The one thing I would, um, I would tell my younger self is definitely have more persistence,
Mm,
which is not giving up on things earlier than I did. Whether it's it could be, hey, giving up on a certain project or selling
mhm,
certain stocks early. It could be so many other things.
mhm,
But I think giving up early is one advice that I would say. Hey, make sure you consider everything before you give up on a project or a particular
mhm,
area of work. So that's number one. I think the second one would be to don't take yourself too seriously and have fun in the process and take care of yourself, because the more you take care of yourself, the
mhm,
better off your results are going to be, the better
mhm.
off your future will be.
I love that. I am working on don't take myself too seriously. Like oftentimes I was like, I'm so annoyed by this problem. But I thought, you know what? Chill. You are just fine. So I love that. Abhijit, you are today a successful entrepreneur. You start one venture after another. So tell us, what is the one piece of advice you want to share with our entrepreneur who are maybe aspiring entrepreneur, who maybe or even seasoned entrepreneurs about what made you so successful?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that is the only thing that helped contributed towards the
Mhm,
traction that I have got or I'm getting.
mhm,
But the one thing, there's never just a one thing, right? But the one important thing
mhm,
that I would recommend is getting super clear on the problem you're solving and how
mhm,
you're solving it.
mhm,
And in my mind, a lot of times, not enough time is spent on double clicking, triple clicking, quadruple clicking on what is the problem you're solving.
mhm,
Is that the right problem? Does the
mhm,
customer have that problem? And if the customer has that problem, what solutions do they apply to take care of that problem? And
mhm,
is my solution better? Is it faster, cheaper, or creates a better experience?
mhm,
And and in my mind, a lot of times customers really care about the outcome. They really don't care how they got that outcome.
mhm,
So what you're creating in terms of solution, it may be software, but it may not be software. It could be something else.
mhm,
So don't put yourself in a box that says, "Oh, this is the only solution I'm going to give to my
mhm,
customers."
mhm,
Be open, but be super clear about problem solving. And I
mhm,
would say that that by itself
mhm,
helps, because when you ask more questions and you solve problems, whether you're asking questions for customers or for yourself or your team,
mhm,
the faster you actually get to traction. And traction is everything, as you know,
mm.
for an early company and early founder. So,
Yes.
problem solving, clarity of problem is
Mhm.
probably my number one thing that I would recommend.
My last question for you is, Abhijit, you come a long journey. You come cross the ocean, seeking the freedom, seeking the impact, seeking the skills. I'm curious. Now you're on this, this beautiful world. You are success in so many different levels. What are the American dream meant for you?
The American dream for me really is about freedom.
Mm,
And it's about having the freedom to do what you intend to do,
mhm,
without any issues or any hangups or any prejudices against you.
mhm,
To me, getting that freedom is hard. It's a hard earned freedom, whether that freedom is maybe financial freedom for some folks, or freedom to create, or freedom to create their own companies, or
mhm,
freedom to, take care of their families, enjoy the time with their partners, with their kids.
mhm.
To me, the word freedom has so many dimensions. And to me, that's really my definition of the American dream.
Oh my goodness, IGB. I did not expect such a beautiful answer. Oh my goodness. And once again, I truly want to say thank you so much for being here and being so open and so authentic. One thing I love most about you is, of course, there's so many things, but beyond all the success you have, you are so humble. You are such a servant leadership. You are truly, lead by example and really bring everybody around with you on the journey, which is just super incredible. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you everybody for tuning in. I truly hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. And until next time, my friend, have such a magical week. And if not now, when? If not, you home. Go start your business. Go start your bakery. Go start whatever's in your heart. Because if not now, when? Bye, guys.